Hello, everyone. Welcome to Gies Online Masters in Business Administration webinar. Thanks for being here today. My name is Kate Deering. I am an assistant director within Gies Online programs in the recruitment and admissions space at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. We're so excited that you are here today to really take that first step in, well, I guess it might not be your first step, but a step in researching one of our programs and learning a little bit about what we are about here at Gies. So exciting to have you here. I see we have, let's see, someone from California, Evanston. Tell us where you're joining from in the chat. Daniel's from Chicago. We often have a lot of Illinois students in our program. Villa Park, ooh, Taiwan. Jose, thanks for being here. This is great. Champaign. Well, welcome. Hopefully you've noticed this QR code on the screen. If you are interested in hearing from us a little sooner than later in the next couple days, someone from our admissions team will reach out to you if you fill out the short form that pops up. If you scan that with your phone, we'd love to connect with you in that way. I'm also going to have my colleague Lori Hayes here. She's also works in recruitment and admissions with me. She's going to go ahead and throw our brand new, well, it's not super new, but recently launched website. If you want to kind of peruse the website, come up with any questions that you have while we're working through our presentation today, that would be great. We have the website is fabulous. It's very easy to navigate. So check it out and let us know if you have any questions there. Here's our agenda today. So we are gonna just kind of get started here slowly with some introductions. I'm going to share a little bit of information about the university as a whole, as well as the Gies College of Business. And then we're going to talk about Gies Business Online and what we've built this program, what qualities we've built this program on. We'll talk specifically about the iMBA program because that's why you all are here. And then we'll get into a little bit more specific information about the curriculum and the content that's included, how our courses are structured, how we deliver that information. And then we will cover the application and we'll hopefully give you a couple tips and tricks there. And then we should have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So I'm going to just move on to our first slide. And hopefully you are familiar with the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, but if you're not, I did want to just touch on a few amazing things that the university is known for. It was founded in 1867 as one of the original public land grant institutions that was created after President Lincoln signed the Morrill Act in 1862. So the Gies College of Business has really taken the mission, the land grant mission, to heart, and we have prided, we have a lot of pride in how we have expanded access to learning globally through our online programs. We have 29 Pulitzer Prizes coming out of the University of Illinois. Roger Ebert was a Sun-Times film critic, among a lot of other journalism and reporter Pulitzer Prize winners. We're ranked number 13 as the number 13th ranked public university, according to the U.S. News and World Report. Big research institution. So in 2021, we had $731 million in expenditures in research, which is amazing. And then we're rated number 1 most disability friendly campus in the US. So that's very significant. As well as this last bullet point, we have over 500,000 alumni that will be behind you if you end up kind of going down the path with us within Gies Online. So so a lot of great statistics and great things to know that that represent the University of Illinois. Let's take that a step further and talk a little bit about our college, the Gies College of Business. It is one of the top 10 public undergraduate business schools in the nation. We have the #3 accountancy faculty, according to BYU Accounting Faculty Research Rankings. And last year, our MBA program was the program of the year. So that was announced out of all of the online as well as residential MBA programs. So that was a great honor to win that award, as well as you can see Dean Brown here noted in the picture on the slide. He was awarded Dean of the Year in 2022 by Poets and Quants as well. So we're really proud also of this last bullet point. We have over 79,000 Gies business alumni, and you're going to see as we talk today how you'll be able to interact with our alumni and what it means to be, part of our program, especially once you're done with your degree or your credential. All right, let's continue. So if you're new and joining us for the first time and you're unfamiliar with Gies Online, we do like to share just a couple qualities that we've built our program upon. So that first pillar is flexibility. And in this online environment where our mission is to provide accessible education to working professionals, we really take the flexibility seriously. If you talk to any of our students in the program, you're constantly going to hear that it's flexible. I chose it because it's flexible. You can access our coursework as well as our group work from anywhere in the world because it's 100% online. So there are no travel requirements unless you want to come visit us. We always love when we have our students visit us here on campus, but all of the coursework and group work is online. And so our courses are designed to be delivered online, so you can attend a live session during the week, and typically you'll meet with your groups and study on the weekends, and then you'll turn your assignments in and submit those group projects early in the next week. So that's kind of how we're flexible. You fit in your work over those 7 days based on your schedule. And then your coursework is very flexible as well. We have an advising team that can help you with your degree plan, but it's really your degree plan. So you are going to be able to design it based on how fast you want to move throughout the program, which courses that you'd like to pair up together, and what order that you want to take them. There's only a small amount of courses that you actually have to take in a specific order. So there's really a lot of flexibility there. And then lastly, we're very flexible as far as how our tuition is billed. We have a pay-as-you-go tuition model. So you will only pay for each course that you're registered for as you move throughout the program. So there's not going to be a lump sum payment at any point. You just pay as you go, which is really nice. Secondly, our courses are stackable and our program is stackable. Our credentials are stackable. All of our credentials, they stack and they work together depending on where you join us at which access point. And we're going to talk about those access points here in the next slide. But there's just a lot of options to meet you wherever you're at in your learner journey. You could start with a MOOC. You could start with just one 4-credit-hour course. You could take a graduate certificate, which is 12 credit hours. All of these options are stackable into our master's degrees. So we've really kind of been working on this for some time as far as providing accessible options for learners to just wherever you're at in your journey. So you could have say you want to start with a MOOC, which is just a foundational piece in a lot of our courses, or you could just start straight to the master's degree. Whatever works for you, we really have an option. And then lastly, online by design. So what that means is that we specifically designed Gies Online and these degree programs to be delivered in a format that is not going to compromise the quality as well as the interactions and the collaboration within them. So you are going to have highly engaging content that you can access anywhere, anytime, without giving up any of your career or your family commitments. And we just intentionally designed this back in 2016. And that's actually when we launched the iMBA program online. So we've been around, we're very experienced in this area. And we're really good at it. And but it was specifically designed to be delivered in this way. And we put a lot of thought and effort into how we were going to do that. So I'm going to just pause right here and make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. Oh, we have someone from Brazil. Excellent. Virginia, Peoria. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Looks like not too many. One thing I wanted to note before we get any further, we do have the Q&A feature. If you have any specific questions as we move throughout, the Q&A feature is really a great place to put those questions. Very easy for everybody to see the answers. A lot of times, if you ask questions in the chat, they kind of get lost and they're hard to follow. Let's save the chat for comments and responses to questions possibly that I will put out there, but go ahead and put your questions in the Q&A as we move throughout the presentation. Okay, so stackable build. So I told you that we would talk a little bit about the access points. This slide is exactly that. We've got 4 building blocks here on the right-hand side. The first small block is representing a MOOC. So that would be on the Coursera platform. A MOOC is a massive online open course. Those serve as the foundation material in our 4-credit courses. So that would be an option to start with. You could audit one of those MOOCs on the Coursera platform for free and check it out and see some videos. We'll talk about what's included in those, but you can see our faculty delivering some pre-recorded videos, and there's some self-assessed quizzes within those. Just a good taste of what some of our foundational material looks like. Another step is the second box. You could take a 4-credit hour course. So maybe you're not totally sure that the full iMBA is for you and you just want to try out a course. You could take that 4-credit hour course and if you love it, apply to the degree program or actually a graduate certificate, and then you would have 4 credit hours towards your degree or towards that graduate certificate. So a building block, a stackable step, if you want to start there. The third block is our graduate certificates, and we're not going to get too deep in those today, but that is an excellent option. Again, if you're not quite ready for the full master's degree, or maybe you just want to develop mastery in a specific area like strategic leadership and management, or an accounting graduate certificate, accounting foundations, or accounting data analytics, or maybe digital marketing. So you can become kind of an expert in that area, earn 12 credit hours of credit, and at a later time decide, oh, I think I'd actually really want to complete my MBA, and you could take those 12 credit hours and stack that into the MBA. So a lot of options there. Lastly, we do have our master's degrees, which is that last box. And actually we have the MSM currently, which is our Master's of Management degree, is stackable into the MBA. So we can talk about that a little bit today, if that's an option for you. We also have some residential stacking into the iMBA. So there's some non-management courses like the MSA, the MAS, the MSF, and the Masters of Business Analytics. If you take those, you could stack those into our iMBA. And then there's also some residential management programs that also stack. So if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to us. But all of these options are for you, and gives you places to start, especially if you're not quite sure that the full degree is for you. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about graduate certificates. Before we jump into the MBA information, I just want you to know that we do have these grad certs. They consist of 12 hours of transcript credit. And so you can apply to these through a brief application process, and they are all stackable into our iDegrees. So the MSM, the MSA, and the MBA. As you can see, we have 11 graduate certificates. We worked really hard the last 1.5 years to launch all of these. And we have 2 more actually being launched next fall that that we have coming up. So that's exciting. So we'll have 13 in total hopefully by the end of next year. These are all stackable into our degrees, as I said. So another great option if you want to start working towards your degree, but not sure you're ready for that jump, or maybe you just want to try out some of our courses. Okay, so I am going to talk a little bit now about the Master of Business Administration. So hopefully that's why everyone is here. While I get started on that, I'm curious, what's been holding you back from pursuing graduate education? I mean, why have you hesitated in filling out this application? I'm so excited you're here, but I'm curious. Throw in the chat, what's been holding you back? And then hopefully we can take a look at those in a little bit and make sure that we address all of those concerns. But back to the MBA. The MBA is going to give you a deep dive into the skills needed to run a business with management, accounting, financial skills. It is going to focus on learning business theory presented by the faculty members alongside current trends and a lot of practical application with case studies and lots of current examples from your faculty and your fellow classmates. So that's the gist of the MBA. And note again, the full IMSM does stack into our MBA, so that if you're perhaps you don't have the 3 years of work experience that the MBA requires, then you could apply to the MSM, earn some experience, earn that degree, and then stack that into the MBA at a later date. That's a great option too. But back to the MBA, it comes in at just $24K. And again, that's a pay-as-you-go tuition. So you're just going to pay for each course that you're registered for. And that can take anywhere from, your degree can take anywhere from 2 to 3 years with a maximum of 5 years. So on average, our students take around 2.5 years, and that's taking 1 or 2 courses each 8-week term. And so you're in charge of your pace. If you want to finish right around that 3-year timeline, a little bit more, you would take 1 course each 8-week term. If you want to finish for sure in the 2-year timeline, you would take 2 courses every 8-week term. Now, note that would require on average 20 to 30 hours of work each week. If you just take 1, we say on average that would be around 10 to 15 hours of work each week. So definitely have options there. Most students kind of go back and forth. Sometimes they take 2, sometimes they take 1, but it's really nice. You can kind of foresee that you might have a busy time at your job, or maybe you have a bunch of vacations or work travel that you possibly want to go light that term. That's totally fine with us. And we even, you can even take an 8-week term off if you need to. You would just work with your advising team and work through that. You can apply to the MBA program, and we have 5 start dates. So January, March, May, August, and October. So a lot of options there. Okay, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an idea of what a cohort looks like. And we use the word cohort a little bit loosely because you do start with students, but because everybody is on their own timeline and we're very flexible with how you progress through the degree, you're definitely not going to finish with all of the same students, but you will start with a group, and the average age of our iMBA students is 37 with 11 years of work experience. So a pretty, professionally mature group. And we have 50 states and territories represented, along with 100 countries. So keep in mind, this is a global program, which is amazing, first of all, but you are going to be alongside students from all over the world in your group work, in your group projects, in your breakout sessions within the your live sessions or your live lectures from your faculty members. And that's what makes our program, I think, really great, is that you have all of that rich experience from students all over the world, right inside your groups and your group projects. So that's what you're going to be learning from, as well as 85 of the Fortune 100 companies represented. So in a lot of your group projects, your conversations are going to be based on work experience and what you bring to the table. So that's a really great number as far as the depth of experience that will be in our program. Okay, moving on to a little bit of some great statistics on return on investment. So we talk to our students when they're done with the program, and 96% are satisfied overall with the program quality. And then two amazing statistics are really speaking to the return on investment, even while you're in the program. So 56% of our students will receive a job promotion or a job offer, or even accept a new position while they're actually in the program. So it's not something that you have to wait for. In fact, a lot of our students talk about the immediate learning that they have from maybe one of their live sessions, that they often learn little tips and tricks and just immediate learning that they can take back to their job and implement in a meeting that they have on the same week, like maybe on a Friday. So we hear a lot of stories about that. We also have a huge salary increase while you're in the program. So on average, our iMBA students will see a 23% increase in their salary, which is kind of unheard of. So that those two numbers really speak a lot to the return on investment that you will see. Okay, I wanted to just cover a little bit about the curriculum and content. I don't want to get too deep into this, but I want you to know kind of what the structure is of our curriculum. And to earn your MBA, you will complete 72 credit hours. So 48 of those hours will be your core courses found in the left box, and then you'll have 24 hours of electives found in the right area. Now, your core specializations are going to total 4. And when we talk about specializations, each specialization is going to have 3 courses within it. So strategic leadership and management has 3 courses in it. Managerial economics and business analysis has 3 courses within it. And so you'll complete all 4 of those, not in any particular order, but in addition to that, then you'll have focus areas, which is really nice. This is where you get to cater your MBA to your background, your career, and choose 2 of those 5 focus area specializations. So those are kind of like your electives. And so again, these all have 3 courses within them too. So you'll have essentially 6 elective courses that you'll take. Global challenges in business, digital marketing, business analytics. Those are all great choices. They're all really great options. We also have an elective path. So if you can't decide, or you're just really interested in maybe a course from 3 different ones, you can do that. You can have an elective path where you create your own focus area. The only caveat to that is that you wouldn't be able to do a capstone project on that. And within the program, you are required to do 2 capstone projects on the total 6 specializations that you'll complete. So those can be done either on a core or a focus area. Essentially, those are a 1 to 2 week project that you'll be in a group, and you'll do a specific project that reflects on those 3 courses and that specialization. And then before you graduate, you will also have a program capstone. And in that is a larger project, a month-long project, where you will definitely reflect on everything that you've learned in the MBA program. You'll work with your peers as well as a professor to complete that. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of an overview on the curriculum and the content. While I talk about this next slide, I'm actually going to pause real quick and check out the chat and see what our responses were, what's been holding you back. So gate experience in your field before going into the MBA, Hassan, that's a great option. And again, we do require 3 years of professional work experience before applying to the MBA. The years long commitment can be intimidating. Oh, 3 years. Yes, that can be. I will say, talking to a lot of our students, it goes fast, and our courses do move fast. So an 8-week term is what a typical 4 credit hour course will take. You do move fast. Since it's only 8 weeks, there's a lot of content that is going to be put into each week as you move throughout that 8-week term. So it does move fast, but that's how you're able to earn a full MBA in 2 to 3 years. And then lastly, I wanted to start my career before heading into the MBA program. Great. I think that's a great option. And we do recommend that. If you haven't started your career and you're fresh out of college, I think a better option for you is the Master's of Management. That is where you're going to learn all of the leadership and management skills of the MBA without that work experience requirement. And then you can reflect when you graduate and take a little more time to earn some more professional experience and apply to the MBA at a later time. That's totally fine. There actually is no timeline to apply and stack that MSM into the MBA. So that's why it's a great option if you don't quite have professional experience yet to start with the MSM. Okay, a little note about the I in the iMBA. I like to just touch on this because the I, sometimes we get a lot of questions. Is the I going to be on my diploma? Is it going to say iMBA on my transcripts? The answer is no. The I just refers specifically to the method of delivery, that it's online. So originally we had a residential program back in 2016, and then we launched an online program. So you can see where there would be a little confusion. So that's just how we designate. Your transcript and your degree certificate will not say online anywhere on it. So you'll earn a Master's of Business Administration from the University of Illinois. So, okay, let's move on to faculty. I want to just talk a little bit, if you're curious about, how are we delivering this highly innovative content? A lot of it has to do with our amazing faculty. And I've met many of them. They're just great individuals, super down to earth, and they really enjoy meeting and teaching our students. We have 74 plus faculty members who teach in online programs. And they have many, many years of experience and as working professionals, as well as being tenured professors. We have 250 TAs that help within our courses. And then we have 55 Gies staff members that are in our teaching and learning department. And so a lot of their heads come together to create the content that we deliver through our faculty members. And just to give you an example, we on average complete around 40 live sessions each week with over 19,000 videos that have been created that are potentially MOOCs or videos within your courses. So we actually film these in our state-of-the-art studios here at our business instructional facility. And we have, I think, 7 more studios coming in the brand new Wyman Hall that the new business building that we just broke ground on. And they're going to have 7 new studios there for us to be able to use for our online programs. So I'm going to pause there, and I'm actually going to share just a quick video that talks a little bit about, not necessarily talks, but it gives you a sense of what a live session is. And then we're going to talk about how we deliver our content and what makes up a course. But this is a great video just to watch so that, you get a feel for Hayden Noel is one of our professors. And I'm just going to stop there and share it and let you watch this.
Hello and welcome from wherever in the world you are. One thing you'll know by now, you've realized you are not going to be able to just sit back. Got excited.
Absolutely.
I do not believe in exams. It will be a collaborative event, something you do over time with others. And that's what we do in this class. I want you to put up your hands and tell me 2 associations from the case.
Tradition comes to mind.
Associated with a working man.
Also inexpensive and very accessible.
end my classes by saying, all of you, go out in the world and be successful.
So hopefully that gave you a little kind of teaser into what a live session looks like. That's one of our faculty members, Hayden Noel. He is so fun, definitely a popular professor, really down to earth and very engaging. So I just wanted to share that, but it really, that reflects what it's like, and our students just love the live sessions. And that takes me to our next slide. And I know hopefully you're curious, or I guess I don't know, but if you're curious on how we do this, how do we structure our courses here? This slide is for you. And the way that we have developed our online programs, we've divided it up into two components. There's an asynchronous component, and then there's a high engagement component. Let's talk about the asynchronous component first. This is found on the Coursera platform. These are non-credit bearing modules, essentially. There's two of these. They're called MOOCs, Massive Online Open Courses. There are two of these built into every 4 credit hour course that we offer within Gies Online. These are on the Coursera platform. You can actually audit these for free ahead of time. This again is maybe the first step. You know, if you don't know where to start, you can start with a Coursera MOOC and try it out. If you pay the subscription, you can earn a certificate. And eventually, if you apply to one of our degree programs or a 4 credit hour course, or maybe a graduate certificate, when you are admitted, we actually link up your Coursera account to Canvas, which I'll talk about here in a minute, which is your Illinois platform. And we will recognize any certificates that you've earned. So oftentimes we have questions about Coursera and getting credit for a Gies course. You will earn completion credit if you've done a Coursera MOOC and earned the certificate, but it doesn't earn you transcript credit. In order to earn the transcript credit, you have to add on that high engagement component that we'll talk about here in a second. But back to the MOOCs. The MOOCs are made up of some pre-recorded videos that are our faculty members conveying content that's within their courses. You'll have self-assessed quizzes. There's some short assignments, and then there's some peer evaluations where you'll write a paragraph, for instance, reflecting on something that you've learned. That's kind of what makes up the MOOCs. Take it a step further and add in the high engagement component, which is the second part of our courses. That is going to build upon those MOOCs. Remember, there's 2 in every 4 credit hour course. We like to talk about the Coursera component as kind of like your textbook in our courses. So the high engagement component is going to build on that content or textbook content. It is found on the Canvas platform. That's where we host our course instruction. Our syllabus is found there. And what makes up our high engagement component is several things. There is going to be a 90-minute live weekly lecture where your professor will be doing your lecture. Within that lecture, you'll have anywhere from 60 to 250 students. It just really depends on what course that is and which live session you attend. There are usually 2 to 3 times that a professor will offer their live session in a day. Sometimes it would be one night and then the next morning. But you only have to attend one of them, and we do record those if you absolutely cannot make a live session. Now, I will say, we highly recommend that you do your best to be in a live session, because that's where a lot of conversations happen. You'll have small group breakout sessions where you're meeting with a group and working through maybe a question from the professor or a case study or talking about an example. So there's a lot of interaction that happens in those live sessions. So we don't recommend skipping those, but we are flexible again, and we understand sometimes you have meetings, sometimes your kids could be sick, sometimes you have, other commitments. And so we do offer that recording. In addition to the live weekly lectures, there's group projects in each class that you'll have, and you'll be working with 4 to 5 other students. Sometimes you're choosing your group, sometimes we assign groups. Before you take each course, there's a group preference form that you'll fill out that is going to ask you some questions like, what time zone you're in, when do you like to do work or homework, just some questions like that. Where do you live? And we try to create the most diverse groups that we can, but taking into account time zones and things like that. So we do our best to facilitate that. So that's your group projects that you'll have in each course. You'll also have faculty office hours, which are really great. That's an excellent way to get in front of your professor, listen to other people that attend the faculty office hours, listen to their questions, and really just get your questions answered on anything that you're confused about. And those are really a great option within the high engagement component. So if you have questions still, throw these in the chat. Lori will help us, and then we can also take these at the end. But just remember that the asynchronous component and the high engagement component, those work together, and both of those are included in all of our coursework that is within our graduate certificates, a 4-credit-hour course, or our master's degree programs. Okay, let's move on to networking, which oftentimes is a big question about online programs. And I love talking about networking within Gies Online because we have so many opportunities for you to connect with other students and expand your network. Some of those are Gies-led, and some of them are student-led. So let's talk about the Gies-led opportunities real quick. We actually, as a team, host iConnects, Immersions, and iConverge. So the first option, iConnects, these are essentially meetups that we host domestically, sometimes internationally if someone from our leadership team or our faculty travels abroad, but we will host a get-together with current students. Sometimes we have a little professional development or a speaker. Sometimes we're just having fun and connecting and getting to know other people in our area. We also have immersion opportunities. These are hosted about 4 times per year. These are for degree learners, and essentially are we host them domestically and internationally, but if they're domestic, they're typically around 4 to 5 days. If they're international, they're going to be a little bit longer. But they are a project-based opportunity where you will work with a company on a specific project. You will also work with various stakeholders in the community. You'll have some cultural excursions, which are fun. And it's a really rewarding experience. It ends in a day where you present your suggestions to the specific company. There's going to be several groups that are kind of competing against each other. And it's really just a great experience. This can count as one of your capstone projects in the iMBA program, but note that there is an extra cost. And typically we have around 30 to 40 students that would attend these, depending on if it's international or domestic. We just had one in Brazil. We're going to Mexico City in January. And then domestically, we've been to Houston, Seattle. And then we've done some virtual ones actually that were really successful that started during COVID as well. And then lastly, iConverge. iConverge is our fall kickoff event where we invite our online students and alumni to campus for 3 days of networking and a lot of fun. We have professional development, some fabulous speakers that we bring in. We'll have fun events each night. We even host a tailgate and go to a football game. But this is a great way to network if you can make it here to campus. I know we had, actually, I'll have a slide on this just to touch on people from all over the world that visit us during iConverge. And then student-led opportunities. So our students are just really active in networking within the program themselves. So, excuse me, you'll have options to network within just your groups, your group projects. And oftentimes you'll have some of the same people in some of your groups, and you really get to know them. I know at iConverge this last year, it was really fun to see group mates finally meet in person when they already knew each other, and they really got to know each other pretty well through Zoom. But then they finally got to meet in person. It was really fun thing to see, because they already had a great relationship. Workplace is also an excellent networking opportunity within the program. So as a degree student, you will be given access to Workplace, which is a Facebook group, meta group just for our students. And there's all kinds of things that happen on Workplace. Students job search, they network, there's study groups for each course, there are study guides, people help each other just even when they're traveling. I know last year there was a great story where one of our iMBA students ended up in South Africa and had a day to kill, and one of our other students that lived there picked him up, took him on a whole tour of the area, dropped him off at his hotel later, and that would have never happened, you know, if they had not both been in the program. And things like that happen, and we call those student-led meetups as well. So a lot of our students will say, they'll post on Workplace and explain that, you know, I'm going to be here. Let's meet up at a restaurant or a coffee shop. And then they invite whoever lives close to them. And then they create this kind of homegrown network that our students that are in the program with them that they didn't even know, but they live close together. So those happen quite frequently. And then we have an ambassador and new student guide program. These are ways that you can get involved with us. Really, the ambassador program has current students who help us connect with prospective learners. Oftentimes we love for them to share their experience with you, answer your questions. And then we also have the new student guide program, which is more of a mentoring kind of onboarding program for your first month or two as you enter the program. Lastly, the iGBA is our Graduate Business Association, kind of like our student council in the program. They are lots of opportunities for leadership in that group, as well as learning just a good connection between students and our leadership and administrative team. So we often meet with that group, and it's a great way to share ideas or things maybe that you're not even that happy about, but it's just a great group that supports the program, has a lot of fun events, things like that. Okay, let's see, we have around 15 minutes left, so I want to make sure we share time. We have time for Q&A here at the end, but these next couple slides are just a couple examples. This is our Seattle immersion that we hosted, I want to say that was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And these are just a few pictures from that event. That was a great event. They ended up in the Seattle Seahawks stadium, and they had a boat excursion, lots of really neat events. And you always will have a lot of kind of cultural or some sightseeing built into the week as well. iConverge this last year, we had 505 students and alumni that attended. 38 states were represented and 32 countries. So that is the entire group there on that right-hand side. And one half day, we actually held all of the meetings and the speakers in the State Farm Center where the U of I basketball team plays. So that was really cool. This is just a couple examples of Workplace. Someone posted that middle picture of studying and attending a live session while they were at the beach, which I thought was pretty cool. And lots of fun posts on Workplace, but then there's also a lot of people just really helping each other through whatever their challenges are on there. Here's a couple examples of the meetups that happen all over the world. So Qatar had some, South Africa, we had a group that met up. Tokyo, there's a real strong group there. So these happen domestically as well as internationally. Okay, I am going to check the chat real quick. Anything that's come up that a common question, Lori, that I should answer before we move on?
There's definitely a lot of interest around the immersion trip, actually. Yeah, and someone was asking more specifics about Germany. Do we have one coming up in Germany?
Not that I know of. They typically don't announce them till everything is pretty set. So the only ones that they've announced currently are the one that's coming up in January, which is going to be in Mexico City, which will be really cool. That's going to be right after the new year. and that's the only one that they've announced right now. So they don't get too far ahead with the schedule on those. There's a lot of details to hammer out for those.
Okay, and then there's another question about the difference between iConnect and iConverge.
Okay, so iConnects are those are more small. Those are smaller events that we create when maybe Narissa Brown, who is our associate dean of graduate programs, maybe she travels to a conference, and then we'll create a meetup wherever she's at, and invite current students as well as sometimes prospective learners to mingle and have kind of a meet and greet. Sometimes those include some professional development or a speaker. Sometimes they don't. And so that is what an iConnect is. And then iConverge is more of a school sponsored event that we invite everybody to campus, and we host it here on typically in the fall, September, October timeline. And it's got a much more rigorous schedule. We'll bring in speakers. We have an alumni segment. We'll have events during the nighttime that we bring everybody together for networking and fun. And then we'll end it with a football game and we host a tailgate for that. So it's a little definitely built out a little bit more, and you'll need a hotel stay, and we have students that come in from all over the world. So iConnects are more local, and we plan those typically, when our faculty members or our leadership team travel, or sometimes as a recruitment team, we'll host some of these iConnects or meetups on a smaller scale. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the support you'll have in the program real quick. I want you to know that we do have a full advising team that will help you plan out your degree plan. They're there for specific questions. Maybe you need to drop a course or withdraw or some things like that. That's who you would meet with. And they have a lot of options to be able to connect with them through email, one-on-one appointments, as well as office hours. Let's talk a little bit about the application requirements. Now, I want you to know that this might seem overwhelming. Our application, though, is really pretty straightforward, and don't get overwhelmed by the application requirements. We can actually help you walk through anything that you're confused about, but it's really straightforward. We'll just require a resume. Keep that brief, 1 to 2 pages. We will also require a bachelor's degree for any of our master's degrees, as well as taking a non-degree course or a graduate certificate. And these will need all your transcripts, especially if you're an international student. Just make sure you include mark sheets, transcripts, and that degree certificate. We need to know that you earned, that you were awarded that diploma. If it's not in English, we'll also require a translation. If you have any questions there, just reach out to us. We have, as of 2024, that application does have a 500-word academic statement, and then 2 required short answer personal statements, and then there's 2 optional ones. So we give you a lot of chances to express any concerns about maybe a GPA or gap in work experience. But for the most part, the academic statement is your chance to share, why we should admit you into our program. We want to see how you shine there and learn something about you that's not necessarily in your resume or your academic history. 2 recommendation forms will be required. So what that means is that we'll just need the name and email of at least 1 manager or supervisor, and then an additional person that recommends you, and we'll actually email them a really short form that should not take them more than, I just want to say, like probably 10 to 15 minutes at most to fill out. We'll ask them some short answer questions, just 2, and then some ranking questions. It should not take them long. So try to not be stressed about the recommendations. And if you have questions about that, reach out to us. If you're an international student, we do require an English proficiency test, TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo. And there are some exemptions for that. So if you meet an exemption, then you won't need those tests. If you have questions about the exemptions, email us. we're happy to help. Lori, can you put the English proficiency requirements and exemptions in the chat so that if we have anybody here that wants
Yep.
to reference that, that would be great. And there's no GRE or GMAT required for application, so that's great. You don't need to spend any money on that test or the time it takes to study. For that, we don't require that. In fact, very rarely do we have someone even submit that score anymore. So that's definitely not a requirement. Scholarship essay. So we unfortunately just passed our scholarship deadline back in June for the fall term. I'm sorry, October for the spring term. And if you're interested in the scholarship, which we have 2 for the MBA program, you would need to wait and apply by the first deadline for next fall. We have one in partnership with Coursera, which reimburses 70% of tuition. And then we have one that is just for females, and we award one each term that reimburses $20,000 of the tuition. That one we're really looking for women that are that have exemplary leadership. They have very diverse backgrounds and demonstrate a real commitment to helping women in business. Those applications are within our program application. So if you're interested in applying those for next fall, you will submit your application along with those program scholarship essays, and those are in the application. So you'll have to wait a little bit to apply to those for next year. Lastly, performance-based admissions track. I just wanted to touch on this briefly. If you are looking back at your bachelor's degree and you're like, oh goodness, I had a 2.5 out of 4.0. Obviously now I have a lot of years of work experience, possibly, you know, you've proven yourself, you've got a successful career going. This might be for you. Also, if you have maybe a large gap in your work experience, or maybe you just want to try out our program before you commit to the full degree, the performance-based admissions track would be for you. And essentially, you will go through the same application process. You'll just indicate that you would like to go that route, and we will consider you for that, which is taking 3 courses that are required courses anyway for the degree program. If you earn a B or better in at least 2 of those 3 courses that you will take one at a time, one each 8-week term, we will evaluate your grades as soon as you're done with those 3 courses and automatically admit you if you meet that requirement of 2 Bs in 2 of the 3 courses and an overall GPA of 3.0. So an amazing option for some people who may have that low GPA that, you know, if we just had that hard 3.0 cutoff, you might not necessarily be admitted. So that would be the PAT track, and happy to answer any other questions about that as well. Application reviews. So typically, if you submit your application, we will take 2 to 3 weeks, probably on the shorter side, but allow us 2 to 3 weeks to review your application. At that point, we will review, or we will reach out and either let you know that you're missing something, or we'll give you a decision, or we'll invite you to interview. And typically an interview is just a 20-minute Zoom interview with someone like myself or someone else on our recruitment and admissions team. Nothing to get too nervous about. We just want to talk to you a little bit about your goals and learn a little bit about you and why, you know, this degree is right for you. So that would be the process there. As far as next deadline, so we're coming up on our last deadline, December 7th, for a January or a March start. Now, if you're not quite ready and you don't think you'll be done by that, we will have one more deadline, February 1st to start in March. But if you want to start in January, December 7th is the date to shoot for. And lastly, hopefully you learned a little bit about our program, a little bit about the quality of the University of Illinois. We talked a little bit about the flexibility of our programs. It's really unmatched. How affordable the MBA is, just coming in at $24K. The innovative way that we structure our courses, I think, is really key and sets us apart from a lot of other MBA programs. Just the way that we combine the Coursera component with the high engagement component without sacrificing that kind of in-person collaboration interaction that you would have, you're still going to have that within this virtual environment, which is really cool. Networking opportunities are abundant. And obviously, as I shared at the beginning, we've won several awards that really kind of confirm what we're all about here and the things that we're trying to accomplish. So we would love to have you join us here at Gies. Here's that QR code again, in case you would like to speak with either myself or an admissions counselor. Go ahead and scan that. But for now, I'm happy to take any questions that we have. If there's any, let me just take a look in the chat. Lori, any questions that we've missed that kept coming up?
I think we got it all answered. I think we got it covered.
Awesome. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed your time tonight. Hopefully you learned something new about the MBA. But if you still have questions, Lori and I are here for you. That's our job. We're happy to talk with you about your goals and maybe which degree, which credential, where you should start. We're happy to have a conversation with you. Just reach out to us at giesonline@illinois.edu, and we are happy to chat. So with that, I'm going to close it out. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you're located in the world, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. Have a great day.